Hey everyone, Galina here of Pure Belonging and Peace with Self, Peace with Food. And I would like to address what it actually takes to heal from emotional eating versus what people think it takes. So, what people think it takes is oftentimes probably something that you see on those Instagram accounts that kind of in the cute little square show you the 3 steps. Feel your emotions, be with your emotions, process your emotions, and then you won't have to deal with emotional eating. But things are quite a bit more complex. Let me tell you what it looks like when somebody comes to me for a consultation or wants to join one of my groups, and we actually sit and look at the history and the reality of what someone's dealing with when emotional eating and restriction is a daily part of their life. First, we have a physical reality. The physical reality that someone has to live with when they're dealing with emotional eating and restriction is not easy. Oftentimes, there's huge fluctuations in weight. People will fluctuate 40, 50 pounds, even more when they're dealing with emotional eating and restriction. Sometimes there's severe weight loss, but I would say most of the people that come to me deal with these fluctuations, up and down, this really destabilized weight. This often goes hand in hand with chronic pain, chronic fatigue, digestive issues, IBS, IBD, thyroid issues, autoimmune conditions in general. So you're looking at a body that has had a lifetime of stress that's manifesting it in this way, and emotional eating and restriction are a part of the picture. Then we have the emotional component. We have the emotional component where people might feel on a daily basis anxiety, they might feel vigilance, or they might be more kind of shut down, depressed, dissociated, disconnected from the world. We have the mental component where people's thoughts are just so occupied by food, so obsessed by food. Food has taken such a big territory in their minds. We have that piece as well. And then we also have, like the first few weren't enough, we also have the way that we think about ourselves or we address ourselves and our kind of self-image and self-concept around the whole emotional eating and restriction. So oftentimes people have severe self-rejection, self-hatred. There's a lot of self-objectification. There's a lot of thoughts around criticism and shame and guilt, really addressing ourselves in a way that is not supportive of feeling good inside. So we kind of feel like crap on the inside. Then there's this constant obsession with a different life. Oh, if only I weighed this, or if I looked like this, or if I weren't dealing with this food issue or with these other issues in my life, I would be so much happier. So there's an inability to be with what's here and what's real. And to make things worse, typically for us, for humans, we need connection, we need loving connection in order to heal. But what makes this situation really worse is that the guilt, the shame, the self-rejection, the self-hatred, the self-objectification, they keep us away from healthy relationships. And unfortunately, many of us who deal with emotional eating and restriction never had healthy relationships modeled in the first place. So we're coming into this picture of emotional eating and restriction also often with codependence or love addiction or excessive caretaking for others, putting ourselves last, not knowing how to meet our needs. So to sum up, we have the physical component where our bodies sometimes have suffered for such a long time and they need our support. We have the emotional component. We have a mental component. We have a relational component. And within that relational component, we have how we relate to ourselves and how we relate to others. It's a very complex picture. So going through the 3 steps of recognize and name your emotions and be with your emotions and then process them and you're going to be okay is really important, but it's incredibly incomplete. I do teach in my curriculum how to be with our emotions, both bottom up, somatically from the body, and top down in a cognitive way. But that's a very tiny percentage of what we actually look at and what we address. And so here's my invitation to you, is to think about what happens when you are faced with how complex this picture is. And most of the people that come to consultations with me are like, oh my God, this is going to take forever. It's going to take the rest of my life to heal this. And I'm here to tell you that it doesn't take a whole lifetime. If you have one unifying principle that helps heal all of these in a foundational, organic way. I myself was completely shocked to find myself free from emotional eating and restriction and all my body image obsession and just awful relationship to exercise. For me, exercise was just something that gave me a certain body. Years later now, I love to move because I love it, not because it's going to give me a certain body. But I was in this prison of body image, exercise addiction, food restriction, and overeating just for such a long time. I was so afraid of food, and I didn't think that anything could help me. I actually gave up in my early 30s. So when I found myself free from these behaviors and obsessions, it was because I had gone through quite an extensive process of healing my nervous system. Now, I went into nervous system healing as a practitioner because I wanted to learn. I wanted to become a trauma resolution practitioner, and I wanted to heal the trauma that was in my body. And in the process of doing that, all these behaviors just melted and went away. And this is what I have for you today as an invitation, is to think, okay, what if I could work on nervous system regulation? What if I could befriend my nervous system, attend to the processes in it, and then restructure it, rebuild it in a healthy way so that it addresses the physical component, where I've reduced the autonomic stress and my body can now heal, where it addresses the emotional component, where we have containment and capacity to meet our emotions in our bodies, where it addresses the mental component, where we learn how to be with thoughts. And it also addresses our ability to be connected to ourselves in a safe way and connected to others and build healthy and supportive relationships. It's beautiful that your nervous system does have that power to really trickle up and address the physical, the emotional, the mental, and the relational. So if you're curious about how I do this work and how you can support and really rebuild a healthy nervous system, I invite you to come and do a consultation with me. What happens in a consultation is we look deeply at your history, the way that emotional eating and restriction have shown up in your life, the way that food fear shows up in your life. We look at the physical, the emotional, the mental, the relational. And then what I'll be able to do for you is tell you whether you're a good fit for a group. And if you are, I'll let you know. And if not, we'll be able to make an individual plan for you where you might have particular reading to do, or you might work with a specific therapist. I have a beautiful network of professionals that can support you. And so I hope that you take me up on that offer and come to a consultation. I've created a beautiful curriculum to support you. And I look forward to meeting you and really exploring together and helping you put your foot on the path to peace with food. I suffered for so many years entirely on my own with no help. And when I found help, it was in a way that I had never expected. So I hope that you don't have to wait for 25 years to find your way, and that you come for an hour to a consultation with me and see how that resonates with you. Happy rest of your day, and I wish you peace with food.